get on your butt and shimmy.
Yeah,
Shimmy
scoot your
down.
way down. The steel hinges on this steel door is so flexy. Then the lights are flickering. Is there power?
Why
Like,
didn't
but
she tie the rope over here
Yep.
where it coincides with the intact part of the platform?
The cool thing is that she almost got a Da Vinci bridge, like by accident. All right, today we are talking about Silo Season 2, Episode 1. And so the first thing is recap. So here is Juliet. She seems to be outside of the silo, not dead. She
Not
goes
dead
over
at
to
all.
the neighboring silo where everyone is dead.
Super dead. She goes into the silo with all the dead people and for some reason destroys her only suit.
She becomes super obsessed with accessing this one part of one level of a silo. Spends her whole time, spends the entire episode to here.
Why so obsessed? It doesn't make sense.
So it's like the feeling you can't get there.
There's some flashbacks where we see terrible recycling operations in this original silo. I mean, my God, what are they doing?
She fails at building this bridge twice, but through the flashbacks, she has good ideas about how to be resilient and build stuff.
Yep.
Succeeds.
She succeeds at the bridges.
It's her final bridge, her third
Yeah,
bridge.
that's the Rolly Bridge.
Third tries a charm, and then there's a guy behind a door.
Guy behind a door who threatens her for some reason.
Season 2, Episode 1. What'd you think about the episode?
I give the episode a solid 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I do think Silo is best when we're exploring and learning new things. So in some respect, I enjoyed this episode quite a lot because I like exploring. I like the idea of exploring abandoned places and learning new things and seeing, oh, how can I piece these events together? So I was engaged the whole time. I really liked that. But there were some problems. One is the scenes were all dark. It's hard to see.
Such a dark episode.
Like what is it? The one episode of Game of Thrones in season 8.
Yeah.
It was like, what? You know. And then a lot of Juliet's actions didn't make sense, especially given her mechanical background. It's like, what? So many mistakes. So while I was into it because we're exploring and doing all these cool things, I was like, what are you doing, Juliet?
Yep.
The guy at the end was scary. But so overall, I did enjoy the exploration. Frustrated with a lot of her decisions. It was difficult to see. So overall, 5 out of 10. What'd you think?
I give this episode a 4 out of 10. I didn't understand what the point of this episode was other than to show resilience, I guess. Yes. The good part was that she solved the bridge puzzle because I was getting real frustrated, like Juliet, like please solve this thing. And the good part of this is that it showed her character. It showed her personality of this like, you may not know what to do from the beginning, but you try, you iterate until eventually you succeed. The bad part of this is that it also showed a bit of her character in that she had some real bad ideas. But maybe that's part of it. Like it's better to try and do something dumb and then get better at it. It's better to do that than to never try at all. So I mean, good spin, I guess. It was annoying at the end that when she finally makes her third bridge, and it was a very video game moment. Like you finish the final boss, and then, or I guess you finish a mid-level boss, and then when you're going out of the dungeon, there's like, here's your perfect exit. Like here's all the things you need. Like you couldn't do that before, but here they are, and I felt very video game. It was wild. It was wild that she thought that the plastic lashing would actually hold the bridge together. That really made me angry, because if she's some brilliant genius engineer, then she should right away like stretch it a little bit. Like, no chance. If I can pull this with my fingertips, if I can grab it with my hands and stretch it, it's no way it's going to hold my whole body weight, especially with the additional leverages, the additional torques from the bridge. Like, no chance. I don't know why she didn't make a rope swing. You know, like a kid's like swing out into the river, or jump in the river. That would also have worked. It's like a simple solution, right?
Right.
I guess I don't know the point of the episode other than to show that she tried until she eventually succeeded, which is a good thing, but also reduces the Juliet lore of like brilliant genius engineer. And then at the very end, the guy behind the bank vault door, he's like, "Oh, I want you to like go away, never come back here. But if you also don't want visitors, why are you playing music, which attracts people in the dead silence of an empty silo?" Very strange. I don't understand it. Very mixed message.
Right. Especially because we assume, saw her wandering around.
Yeah.
So go silent running.
Yeah, if it's Halloween and I'm out of candy, turn off the lights. Stop drawing
Turn off
people
the
in.
Yeah.
But overall, still enjoying the series. Let's talk about it.
All right, let's get into it.
Right here at the beginning of the episode, this is the neighboring, or I guess one of the neighboring silos, and there are these dead bodies. And my question is, why are the bodies here in this pattern? What killed them? Lots of dead people.
Lots of dead people. Whoa.
People made it past the hill. Yeah,
So if I can reiterate the question, you're saying there's a bunch of dead bodies. It looks like they were trying to escape the silo or something.
or
Why
leaving
is
it
there
somehow.
like high density of bodies here, low density of bodies here, and maybe no bodies out here? What happened? Is that the question?
That's exactly the question. Like some people made it over the hill, some people came up the stairs and then turned around and came back.
Yep.
So why do they distribute like this? This is actually like a science question for when you have crowds at concerts. So like where do people move when they're in these mobs? And also it's also a question specific for Silo for why did they die at these distances away from the entrance?
Okay. So I guess this is the best overview picture right here.
Yes.
So to me, gosh, the people die very slowly if they go outside. They die very quickly if they're unprotected when they run outside.
I think so.
Which means people literally ran up here, and then a lot of people died near the entrance, and a few, maybe the fitter people, were able to run away from the entrance.
Or maybe people that didn't run, so then their heart rate was lower, so then they could survive longer. They're not like sucking in whatever.
Oh.
Is it gas? Is it gas in the silo that makes people die?
I mean, it has to be. It has to be, because what else kills people quickly enough? So lack of like poison food. Well, they're not eating food. Poison
eating.
water. They're not drinking.
They're not drinking.
What's the change from inside to outside the silo? I think
Just atmosphere.
Atmosphere. So you breathe in poison gas, and then you die within literal minutes.
So I guess people depending on your sensitivity to the gas, like there's a LD50, the lethal dose for 50% of the time, and some people can survive a little bit more, some people can survive a little bit less, but 50% of the time, this much gas makes you die. And so and then that predicts like the first few people dying, and then it gets worse after that because you have to like step over bodies and slipping and tripping. I guess that could explain why there's that high density right by the entrance.
Yep. So I think this is consistent with a mob, like a horde, or what do you call it? A stampede of people up the stairs outside, and they start dying preferentially near the entrance because it's crowded, hard to move. Some people are able to get further away. Some people double back to try to escape.
That's a good point, because there's uncertainty. Like you don't know which direction to go, so then you end up having a lot of milling around.
Yeah. And if people are like, I'm going to run that way, and I run into people, run, and then end up dying right there. Some people are like, I'll double back, maybe there's something, and then they get out here, nothing.
Yeah. But then there's also that little gap right behind the camera station. Little clean strip right there. Right?
Yep. And that makes sense because, well,
really?
if you would you run straight line this way? Is there a purpose to running behind?
I don't know.
Trying to get away? Because this, I mean, I guess if you're running and you take a glance, you're like, there's nothing there. I thought there might be something. I'm just going to keep going.
I thought maybe it could be people. You might want to go behind the camera pillar if there's sunlight and you've never encountered sun before. You don't realize how blinding it is. But
that's true.
I guess I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
I guess it would depend on the time of day.
If it was nighttime, then maybe not. You'd think you'd see if there was a shadow in some direction, you would expect to see maybe people milling higher cluster than usual.
Shadow.
But I don't see. Maybe it happened at nighttime. This stampede happened out of the silo at nighttime.
At nighttime, nighttime and new moon, so no moon.
Yeah.
I would expect to see the most even distribution because there's no clear any direction to go.
So this, to my eyes, this looks fairly even.
With the
some
exception
clustering.
of, and I guess the door is not centered in that cluster.
Okay.
But I guess that's right because you generally keep walking forward more or less,
Yeah.
right? You leave the thing and you keep going forward.
Yeah.
It's not like
So this-
they're born and raised on RPGs and they're like check behind every
Yeah.
door.
But I think I generally see, okay, given, I think it's a sigmoid shape because of the
Sigmoid.
directionality of the door, which is this.
I'm gonna look up what a sigmoid is.
Okay, let's look it up. Sigmoid function. That's the wrong one. In
Cardioid,
2D.
I think you want.
What am I looking for? That's the wrong function.
Cardioid, maybe.
Cardioid. Cardioid.
Cardioid.
Yeah, this is the one I want. Cardioid. Let's get that.
Oh, I've been misspelling it wrong.
Where'd
Did
my
I
image
learn?
go? Let's click on that. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
relevant for sound.
Also, how microphones work. Yeah.
Yep.
I
Okay, so
guess
this is what I was thinking. This is the door,
Mhm.
and you're going to get this bum shape centered at the door
Mhm.
because people are preferentially going
Forward.
forward out the door. So I think I'm seeing an very approximate cardioid shape here,
Yeah.
where there's some preference, and then
Plausible.
some kind of power law drop off after that, or
1
an
over R
exponential
type
drop
thing.
off. Maybe it could be exponential. I mean, I don't
Hard
want
to
to do.
tell.
I don't want to do the data
Yeah.
analysis, but I'm
Plausible.
plausible. Cool body distribution.
Hmm.
Cool. I guess the other question is why is there this hill in the silo? Why
That's
isn't it
a
just flat?
good question. So it makes sense for there to be a hill. If I make it make sense. So
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at the radius of the silo, and I think they set up these big drills and then just started drilling down. And
Okay.
so when you remove mass from the earth, like you remove dirt, you got to go somewhere, right? So then
Yep.
you push it out to the sides. I guess the question that I have is why is there so little dirt? Shouldn't there be a silo's worth of dirt shoved out onto the sides?
Oh, where did the dirt go? Because the cylinder is huge, right? It's this huge cylinder, and you got these little hills on top.
Right.
So
maybe the silos are built on top of coal veins, and so like they're consuming it for fuel inside the silo. I don't know how else to explain that.
that would be weird. That would be so
Yeah.
weird. Oh, so you're thinking? I was thinking this was subsidence, like it was level, and then somehow the silo is subsiding, and so you get this lip.
Oh, could be.
But you bring up a good point. Where's the material they drilled?
Right.
Are they moving
when
it
they
elsewhere?
drilled? They start with the earth. They drill
Yep.
down, but then when you make a hole, that dirt goes somewhere.
Go somewhere.
So you like bring it up and you throw it outside, and then that's what this ring is. But that's not enough. That's not
too little
enough mass
material.
at all.
And then the people who built the silo in this like emergency apocalyptic situation, why are they taking the time to properly move the debris from the drilling elsewhere? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know.
whatever silo.
So this is one of my first examples of Juliet making a mistake.
So bad.
She's got all these bodies. Okay, she's right there next to the door. First off, why are you deciding to go into the body silo? Maybe it's the only one open.
Maybe it's the only one that's open, right?
Maybe it's the only one that's open. But there's this clear, like, using the bodies, this clear, like, slope down into the silo. But she decides to inverse pull up and then fall. What are you doing? Okay.
She's going to lower herself. That's high risk.
What is she doing?
Okay, wait, why is this high risk?
Okay, so she's in a suit. Suits can rip.
Yep.
She
and
knows
that
the air is
that suit
poisonous.
Exactly. The suit is critical to her survival right now. She's
Yeah.
got to be doing everything she can to make sure it doesn't tear.
Also, there's no real time constraint. I mean, there is a time constraint because she's probably running out of air.
Yep.
But it's not so time constrained that she can't take, I don't know, 30 seconds here and do a little more assessment And either, I mean, I think maybe you just get on your butt and shimmy.
Yeah,
shimmy
scoot
down.
your way down.
Because then your legs are in front of you. If you know.
Like a kid that's climbed too up on a high in a hill. Like you sit down, you scoot your way down. Or like snowboarders when they're checking out, you sit down and scoot your way down.
Scoot your way down. And she could do that right here.
Yeah. And just step on the bodies. You've already stepped on a bunch of bodies getting there.
Right. And it's more critical to keep your suit intact and your oxygen supply clean than to not have some body grime on the outside of your suit.
And heck, even that body grime, like these bodies they're not juicy anymore. Like they're totally dry. They're fine.
Totally dry, yeah. Plus, look at this. There's like these little edges.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to do like a dip. I guess it's a dip.
Yep, a dip, yep.
And I mean, this could catch, and you could just shimmy down.
Heck, she could turn around and face the bodies and then go down backwards, like going down a ladder backwards.
Yeah. That would be better too. Anything but this, really. I mean, why doesn't she go for broke and do it over here?
That's right. Just drop. She's trying to drop it right down. It's weird. It's weird because she did a bunch of adventuring when she was a kid, right? And she did more adventuring when she met her boyfriend in season 1.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I feel like she should be more experienced in this.
Yeah, there's a good shot. She decides to fall here, but there's sort of this nice slope. You could get on your butt and just scoot on down.
I guess for me, the most important thing would be gentle. Because what if she drops down and somebody's like broken all nerve, like stabs through her suit, and then now the suit's broken, and then she's bleeding. Like,
yeah. Or even if the suit catches on something, and you're going slowly, it's like, oh, let me uncatch it.
No problem. Unsnag, desnag.
Versus if you have a sudden drop, it's gonna rip.
Torn. Now you're problem.
Yeah.
Not good at adventuring. Okay, so on the outside of the silo, there's lots of bodies. But as soon as she gets into the silo, there's no bodies. So why? What happened? Why did they kind of make it out?
Okay, she's falling again.
She's in the airlock now. There's always 2 doors to an airlock.
Yep.
And so here, in the inside of the airlock, bunch of bodies. And like packed, like tight. But as soon as she's inside, clean.
Yeah, not a body in sight.
Cafeteria is clean. Like, that means that everyone that wanted to get out of the silo got out of the silo. But then they couldn't get out of the airlock. They like died. Some people got out of the airlock. They died upstairs. And then a bunch of people got stuck in the airlock. They died on the stairs. Yeah, so what happened? What is the situation where everyone gets out, but then they don't quite make it out?
So according to the other silo, there's 10,000 people in the silo. And somehow there was a stampede of everybody at that narrow doorway. And the way everyone died is they all got through the doorway. Mm-hmm. They all died outside without some stragglers behind.
That's the weird thing.
That's the weird thing. Because you'd think there would be people who would just say, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to stay in the silo. Yep. There'd be a bunch of people milling around the door on the outside who don't make it outside. And when the door opens, they die. Mm-hmm. So was there a cleanup effort?
And it's not even like the bodies stop happening halfway down the stairs. It's really like the bodies are packed in there all the way to the inside of the airlock.
So just like bodies.
Like it doesn't like thin out as some people didn't make it. Like it's really packed in the airlock.
Yeah. So this is consistent with a crush, I guess it's called, where like a stampede, they start crushing each other and they got all stuck. Yeah. And then, well, I guess before everyone can get crushed, they die from the poison gas. But it doesn't explain why. Okay, more bodies.
More dropping down. Look, that's lots of bodies. They're packed in here.
So many bodies. But then inside, oh yeah, it's clean floor. Completely so hard to clean. See. Here's Juliet. Here's Juliet, and then here's a clean floor.
Yep.
Shouldn't this be covered in bodies too?
Or at least a few. Like everyone that wanted to get out got out outside of this door, and then died.
And then died. That's
means
very.
There's like no like warning time. You like see people start dying. Like I'm gonna turn around.
Yeah. It's inconsistent with a panic stampede because it's never that clean. There's always people. Some people get out real far. Some people in the stampede. Some people straggling behind. In fact, the majorities are probably left behind.
Right. It thins
That's
out.
Weird.
It should thin out as you get farther away.
Okay. What about this? Because the door was closed. The door was closed and airtight. Maybe a bunch of people got out and died, and then the people left in the silo closed the door and did cleanup. And then eventually the silo died.
And the people that were in the staircase, when they realized that people were dying at the top of the staircase, they like turned around and they're rushing to get back into the silo, and that's actually what causes the crush.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. If all these people were believers that it was nice outside,
Right.
They rush outside. Oh crap! It's actually crappy outside.
Not good.
Then a rush backwards, but the people have already closed the door.
You made your choice. You said you want to go out. You're out.
That sounds very plausible.
And then it's clean on the inside of the door because people didn't die there. They just walked away and lived their lives somewhere else in the silo.
Right. And they're not going to open the door when the crush happens because that just means they're going to die. They're going to expose the silo to a horde and
the
poison gas.
Yep.
That's a good explanation. I like that.
Okay.
So this is the same scene. Juliet she wants to go into the silo with all the dead people. How do crowbars work? What the heck? So she shoves the crowbar into this crack in the door.
Into like the top of the door. Yeah.
Top of the door. She hangs on it. Doesn't work. She
tries to get on top of it.
Yep.
Apply some downward force. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Jolty stuff. Okay, so my question was, how do crowbars work to open doors? Because she fits the crowbar. This is the solid metal door. Kind of hard to see. This is the solid metal frame of the door.
Oh,
she shoves the straight crowbar into there. And the door opens inward.
So gosh, okay, that's a lot going on. So I don't know in this scenario, but I am familiar with firefighters breaking doors, and they use crowbars for that. Good point though that it's a metal door, because when I've seen it with firefighters on wood doors, there's two things that they're trying to do. Okay. One is they're either trying to attack the door latch, so like where here's a doorknob, there's a plunger that goes into the latch in the wall, so you can either just rip that out, in which case if you rip it out, the door's not locked anymore.
Yep.
The other thing that they may try to do is so that's if it's just a door frame, you try to break the door frame. The other thing you could try to do is attack the door, and so you try to wedge it enough so that way it's no longer, the plunger is no longer in the catch. What did I call it before? Either way.
Yep.
And then if you can dislodge the plunger, then the door swings open.
Yep.
And I guess the third thing is by trying to wedge the door, you could mess up the hinges. You could like disalign them if there's space over there, and then the door will be open. But all of those arguments I've just made now for wooden doors where there's flex. So I don't know how that applies to this, what I assume is steel, heavy, strong steel.
Right. So all of those fireman techniques require that deformation of like the wood or something. And probably multiple people with like big hammers, like whoa bam. Whereas this is a single person without a hammer with a solid metal, probably steel door.
Yep.
It's just not going to deform with the forces that we're giving it.
Although if it's a large door and you apply a force in the end, you may not need a lot of force to just dislodge it a little bit, break a seal.
Yep. So I guess this is so hard to see because the episode is so dark.
So dark.
This is the crowbar right here.
Yep.
And the pivot point is up here. And
not the pivot point of the door. The pivot point of the crowbar.
The crowbar. So that the end is lodged in it's secure into place. It's not going to rotate. The rest of the crowbar is going to rotate down. And this crowbar is going to apply a force on the door down, roughly.
Yep.
And that's because Juliet is over here to the left. She's like hanging off of it, pulling it down. So she's got a large moment arm with a relatively small force.
Her body
got
weight.
a tiny moment arm, so it's going to be a huge force. And so it just has to like push it in, right?
Just to dislodge it, break whatever is catching the door.
Right. So I don't think she can't be overcoming a lock, because it was just like this big like bolt locks.
Right.
Like no way. But if it's just like stuck on like a little
lip.
groove, maybe she can overcome that. Is that?
Let's play it again, maybe.
Play it again.
Let's see right when it opens.
Okay. Okay, body weight.
Yep.
Large moment arm.
Yep. Probably a factor of 20 to 50.
Something like that, yeah. Oh yeah, so right at that point. Let's look at that again.
Right when it breaks.
So I'll find, yeah.
So first of all, it's sealed. It's sealed
Yeah.
tight because we see all the dust get blown off.
Yeah. Oh, it actually,
So I guess
actually moves down a little bit.
she's lowering the door. And maybe is that the catch there? That catch right next to the right behind the crowbar?
This right here.
Maybe that's the catch, that that's first of all terrible security. It's so small.
But I think
I guess.
that mechanism with the lever inside is not engaged, which I think is the main lock. I think that catch might just be like an alignment catch. Filling in blanks here.
Registration pin.
And so she knows that somehow, that if she can overcome that catch, she's good.
Yes. And the hinges
Assuming
on
it's not locked.
The steel hinges on this steel door is so flexy.
Oh,
But
yeah, so flexy.
Maybe, I don't have a good intuition for this. I'm surprised by how flexy. But
Yeah, you're talking about this downward movement, down.
right, because that
Down.
means in the hinge, if you look at your door, it's like the two metal panels with a pin.
Yeah,
That means that this is pretty flexy,
pretty flexy.
pretty loose. Yeah.
Pretty loose, yeah. Maybe that's how it's designed to work. But once that mechanism is ka-chunk into place, it's solid. And I don't know how those hinges work. There's some advanced hinging. Also, I noticed just now, she jolts. Why does that feel
Jerks.
right?
Because it feels like you can give a large amount of force in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I guess if you hang on it like she's been doing, you get an acceleration of 9.8 meters per second down.
Yep.
Whereas if you jolt for a short amount of time, you could get much higher than a G, which would be correspondingly higher on the push by the crowbar.
Right.
And if she's just looking for that little like movement out of place, a jolt could work.
Just to overcome whatever static friction is holding that door in place. If it's rust or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But should she be pulling? Because then at most she can generate is a little bit more than body weight, right?
Right. So, because now I'm thinking about it, if she wants sustained force, I think she wants to pull from the ground up.
Yeah, wedge the crowbar in the bottom of the door, and then effectively just do a deadlift.
Yeah. And I think most people who are fit can deadlift much more than their body weight.
Oh yeah.
So if she wants a sustained force, I think it's lift up from the ground. However, if she wants to do this jolty stuff, that might be better from the top down. Because you can give yourself a fall and then grab.
Yeah, as opposed to being on the ground, setting up for a deadlift, and then doing a rapid jump.
Right. In that case, you're working against gravity. Yeah. Oh, my lumbar.
Yeah. Oh, my L5. Okay, maybe this is right. And you don't want to have extended arms because then the loosey-goosiness of your shoulders slows down that impulse.
Slows it down.
Maybe she's doing the right thing, actually.
So she locks in at the crook of her elbow.
Yep.
Okay.
Tighten up the lats, make it super tight and super secure.
Yep. Okay. So a summary. I think Juliet has knowledge about the door, and there's a catch. She knows if she can overcome the catch, then she can move the door. So she goes up and does the top of the door, so the door will move down, and that assists her with the jolt, which means higher force, so she can overcome the catch. And once she pushes it in, she knows it'll swing. Okay.
Okay. She's only seen this door one time from the other side when she was leaving the first silo.
Maybe the design diagrams for the door are down in the down deep, and she was she was a studier.
I would also be okay with she is just mechanical genius. She saw it one time. She's like, I'll save that for later.
Save that for later. Look at that catch. Look at that on the door as she walks out to her death. She's just keeping everything in mind.
She's going through there criticizing you like, hey, you really should change this engineering here.
Yeah. Gosh, and after she enters the silo with all the dead people, she finds a flashlight. It still works. She runs for some reason. She has air problems, water. She also stabs herself. Let's watch.
Wild, so dangerous. Some clean canteens.
Water, flashlight. Why are we running? Why are we running?
Why are we running? What's the urgency? Wait, is the urgency she needs air? Is that it? She needs to breathe?
I think she needs to breathe here, and so she's running out of air in the suit.
Shouldn't she walk then? Right? Because then if you're in an enclosed environment, you're running out of oxygen. You should breathe slowly so that you're not huffing, puffing, consuming. So why is she running down the stairs at all? Just
right.
You're in the cafeteria. Just do it there.
She was in the cafeteria, so you could just sit down and take care of one problem at a time. First problem is air. I should take off my helmet.
Like she didn't gather anything from the stairs. She had all of her tools that she needed to use already. She just ran for some reason.
I don't know why she ran. And then if you do need air, why you a sharp crowbar into the face? So what are we doing?
What are you doing?
Okay, so the air problem is solved.
Yep. Just pour some coffee on her.
What was the urgency on pouring the coffee?
I mean, I guess she's doing chemical bath, like a chemical shower. You know, like back in school, if you spilled chemicals on your body, then you go into the hallway, you pull the chemical shower and just blast yourself with water, wash whatever's on your suit.
Does she know that's required?
I don't think she knows that. Yeah, so I guess the question is, did the air, whatever's poisonous on the outside, did it come in contact with her suit and then coat her suit? Because if it did, then when she takes off her gloves eventually and touches it, then now it's on her hands. Is that what she's doing?
But in that case, it's as good as explanation as any. But I would think what I would do in that situation, if I thought the outside of my suit could potentially be sensitive, I'd want to take off the suit without damaging it carefully, without touching the outside.
So I guess you keep your gloves on for as long as you can.
Yep.
You take everything off, and then the last thing is gloves off.
Yeah, and if you have to take the gloves off to get a sleeve through, you can take the sleeve through, and then you put your glove back on so you can manipulate the belt or the shoes or whatever.
Just invert the sleeve. Just flip it. Flip it inside out.
And then and then you could once it's taken off and you need to clean it, well then you could find a sponge or something and you could do a thorough job.
Yeah. I agree.
Because even if there's no way this is a thorough job, right?
Yeah, no way. She's just splashing vaguely on the front side of her suit.
Yeah, the back side, yeah.
With this, whatever's in this water. Whatever's in these bottles. Oh my gosh.
Why is she stabbing?
And it's like it's not like cut the zipper. It's like a
Okay, so she solved the air issue, and then she kind of solved the outside contamination issue.
Yeah.
Why now stab? What's the urgency with the stabbing? What is that?
Slowly, carefully.
Well, why not take the suit off slowly?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Is the suit burning her on the inside? Get it off.
I don't know.
She's got a terrible case of swamp ass. She's like, I can't take it.
It's so wet.
I've never experienced this before.
Maybe maybe
The
she's
smell is up
freaked
there.
out by having touched all those bodies.
So
But
it's just panic.
but she didn't. Yeah, but she didn't start panicking until she got to the cafeteria. She was okay before that.
Yeah, why not panic kind of right when you close the door? You're like, get it
Yeah.
off, get it off.
Yep. Safety, please. Yeah. Instead of crowbar to the face, like straight in,
Yeah.
crowbar and swing it, so that way it's not gonna like get your face, but it won't break the screen.
Yeah. But then if I did want air in my suit, I don't want to break the visor because that's something I can't duplicate. If I tear the suit,
I can tape
then
it
I don't
later.
know. I can fix that later and I can get the air I need. The visor is a full commitment to breaking the suit.
So I guess what she wants is to stretch her suit and then pierce sideways, not towards you, but sideways, and then you can, a little shimmy down, and then you open up your suit.
Right, for the reason we don't know. Because the air, she's fine breathing.
Yeah.
Now she's got stabby stab. And rip.
She could have sliced up her leg. Oof.
Yeah, because you got to do that slowly. That could be a sharp knife.
Oh gosh, and you wanna open up your suit near your upper part of your torso because the lower part of the suit, it looks waterproof or watertight, which means
Yeah.
if she ever needs to like wade into water, she can't anymore. She just cut the leg open.
Yeah. That's right. So this visor's gone, so it's no longer airtight. And then if she needed to use the suit for any other purpose,
Yeah.
now it's not sealed anymore. All the way down to the crotch.
Down to like mid. Oh, so she cuts the torso down to her belly button, I guess. But then
yeah,
she
she
also cuts the leg.
She also cuts the leg.
That's tape.
That's
that's-
tape. Oh, that's tape.
yeah.
Oh, I see. That's a dangling piece of tape.
But
But
it's
here's she's cutting.
Exactly.
So the suit's toast. Like there's no, without a
She's-
serious patch job, this is suit's toast.
She's stuck in the silo, unless she can find more suits in this one.
And even if she did find more suits, she didn't. There's no way she had time to verify that they're good suits.
She gambled.
I mean, the silo she's from, they sabotage the suits with tape. The silo here, they could sabotage it some other way that she doesn't see.
Yep.
Okay. Very weird.
Bad
Very
adventuring.
strange.
Bad adventuring. This was surprising. So she walks through this decrepit, this falling apart silo, but then lights are flickering. Is there power?
So weird.
Just flickering in the background.
Yeah.
Gosh. And so it's weird for two reasons. One is in the original silo 0, powering it was a big deal. Like down
Big deal.
down deep, lots of effort, took many people to keep the generators running. And so here seems to be everyone dead and there's power. And then the second thing is flickering power. Like flickering power is really just this right on this peak of like working and not working.
So there's no way that the generator in this silo is working. One, because it's abandoned. Two, because it's flooded with water. We see later in the episode.
Right.
So the power has to be coming from elsewhere. So batteries?
Maybe,
No way.
So maybe batteries, but I would be surprised because how long can batteries be charged and supply power before being recharged?
Assuming the tech is better, assuming
That's a good.
things are
point.
more
It's future.
efficient. It's still asking a lot of batteries.
Right.
And if these batteries are this good, why rely on a generator so much? You want like a smaller generator that can re-up the batteries, So I think batteries, probably not. What about solar?
I think there's no solar. There's no. I mean, it would be a good energy source, but up above the silos, we saw no solar panels.
Yeah, so if we go to the picture, like up here,
No solar panels.
I see no solar panels. And even if there are solar panels, they're covered in dust at this
Right.
point.
You'd have to send someone up there to clean.
That's true. Maybe that's the original point of cleaning.
Yeah,
So
weird.
definitely not batteries. Well, probably not batteries.
Right.
Definitely not solar because nobody goes up there and cleans them and we don't see them. Can't be the generator down below because that's flooded with water.
Mm-hmm.
What about a backup nuclear RTG style thing? You know,
What is RTG? What is RTG?
It's what they use in like those probes that go way out of the solar system,
Oh,
where solar panels really low.
Residual thermal something generator.
Yeah, it's like you use the thermal energy of the nuclear decay to power
Just being warm, right?
Yeah, maybe that runs some kind of automated backup generator.
Could be. Yeah, I guess there's no requirement that the silos are powered similarly, but I think it's a reasonable guess that they are, because if they're made by the same company, I don't know.
Right, and then they're making like custom silos.
Right.
That'd be weird. Maybe, okay, we did see that guy later in the episode, and he has power.
True.
Is he maybe siphoning power from another silo?
That's a good point, because if that guy has enough power for lights and music, he's getting it from somewhere, and I doubt that if all those bodies out there have been dead for that long, then everyone's been gone for a long time, which means his batteries must have lasted for that long. I doubt that. So maybe okay. So we've been operating under the idea that all the silos are independent.
Okay.
But maybe they're not. Maybe they have like backdoor connected power grids so that the silos are socially separated, but they have potential like inter-reliance on each other if they have needs.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe that guy in the vault has figured out how to tap into the neighbors.
So I like this because in season 1 on the hard drive, which we never got to explore, way down in the drill room, there was a tunnel in the diagram that goes to somewhere.
Oh,
I don't know if you remember this diagram.
I do.
And I speculated that went to another silo. So maybe, but now it's flooded, so we can't. So if there is a connection, maybe it stands to reason that there's a power connection too.
And for this one guy and this flickering light, the power draw is pretty small. Neighbors probably won't notice.
Maybe not notice the siphoning power. And then
maybe
these
that's
are flickering.
why the original silo has to work so hard to generate power.
Just everybody siphoning off them.
Yep.
Like, what is going on here? Also, the lights are flickering, which maybe means the power grid on this silo is degrading over time. And so there's some flickering, and the guy in the room can't shut the power off to the silo. So the silo originally, when everybody escaped, was fully lit, and then lights start to go out, things start to go out, and now it's just flickering over time as it's not maintained.
I guess maybe. The thing that bothered me about the flickering is that when electronics flicker on and off, they break down real quickly. Like
Which means
there's that longest light bulb in the world that's been on for like 112 years, but it's always on. Like they don't turn it on, turn it off. That's when it breaks.
So maybe that means these are on their last legs. Like these are the last of the lights to go, and they're about to go.
Yep.
They're going to go.
Julia just happened to have been there at the right time.
Before the last light goes off. Maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, weird. So this is part of the flashback. This is back in the original silo. We're watching Juliet as a kid go through the recycling operations. Terrible recycling operations.
Terrible.
Everybody, this is Juliet.
She a criminal?
No, Barney, she's not a criminal.
So first off, one of the most important aspects of the silo, recycling materials. You don't have manufacturing. You don't have many mines. Like, you're not going to be able to replicate a lot of this stuff. You've got criminals doing the job. What?
She's just new to mechanical.
Come on down, little one. New load every 5 minutes. You got it? See, recycling is only supposed to put hopeless stuff down the chute.
This is the last chance for anything before it goes to the incinerator. The good stuff goes back to recycling.
And the really good stuff goes to Walker.
So, when would you ever throw something away in this situation? I'd say almost never.
Almost never. Well, because, so in real world, we throw away stuff all the time. But in this world where you live in a time capsule, like a sealed environment, you really can't afford to be throwing kind of anything away.
Right, I mean, imagine, I got a bag of corn nuts here. Like this bag, say it was empty.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do they have manufacturing in the silo for these bags? Like, no way. This
You
is
could
a
use that
container.
bag. You can use that bag for other stuff.
Right.
And even if you don't have a use for it, somebody else might.
So you need to keep these bags in a
Yep.
in a room temperature, dry environment, nice and categorized, so somebody can use it if they need it. What about
I want corn nuts.
what about a notebook? Got a notebook.
Yep.
Like paper, super important. That stays.
Yeah, they don't have any trees anymore. They can't manufacture new paper. Oh no, they do have trees. They have like the indoor farm thing.
They do. Yeah. What about just like a cable?
That's it.
So important, right?
That's it. You have no more chances. What about this Corsair MX5 something mouse? Very specific. Like, can't make a new one of these, right?
So you can't make a new one, and let's say it's totally broken. Don't know how to fix it.
Scimitar Elite wireless.
I mean,
gaming.
I wouldn't throw it away. I might put it into a pile of like, doesn't know work, cannot fix because it's too intricate. But we
Okay.
could take it apart,
Yep.
and then the parts that we find may be operational. Maybe somebody can figure out a use. So we need to figure out some way to take it apart, and because it has it has an IR thing in there,
Yeah, it's. I think it's a laser in here.
laser.
And a bunch of different integrated circuits that may not function anymore as a mouse, but could be used for some other equipment. Sure, take it apart.
Sure. And then just a plastic shell
Yeah,
or the keypad, little keypad.
we'll keep that on the side. Yeah, this could be somebody's security code. Boop 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 boop.
Boop, 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 boop. Yep.
It's hotter down here. You drink until your pee is clear.
Modest.
Falling
Okay.
asleep on the belt. Your hair gets caught in the rollers, rips half your scalp off.
I like this
Walker?
lady.
Incinerator. Walker hates toys.
We keeping you awake?
No?
People falling asleep. Okay. Also, important safety tip: your hair gonna get ripped out. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Like
What are
three
you
of them
doing?
have long hair.
This guy's
So
cool.
I thought that she was just trolling the new person. But like, watch out for your hair is going to rip up. Like, actually, there's no problem.
There's no problem. The rollers are too slow. It'll rip your hair out slowly.
I mean, there is no hair ripping out problem because otherwise they'd have hair nets or ponytails
Something.
or something, right? They
Yeah.
do something. But I thought she was just messing with Juliet.
I'm calling it.
And then they've got shifts. This is in the silo. Why is there not a 24/7 thing going on?
Yeah, why are they attached to the sunlight day schedule?
I mean, they would still want like a circadian rhythm, I would guess, but there's no reason why people can't be not synced up. to
3
fill the
shifts a day. Sure.
Yeah. 3 8-hour shifts a day. Why not?
Yep.
So they have criminals. It's inefficient, bad safety. It's hot.
Gosh.
Like they're throwing away things that should be kept. God, it's really bad.
Recycling should be valued more in this silo. Why are we getting criminals this job?
It's one of the most important jobs in the silo, I think. Taking this stuff, categorizing it, finding the parts, inventorying, like critical.
Critical because they don't have access to new stuff.
Right. They may be able to manufacture a few things here and there, but not these like things that require these huge global supply chains. No way. They have 10,000 people.
Do they have a foundry? Like, can they,
They have
make new metal?
I think they say they have a mine. So they're able to manufacture some sort of raw materials. Probably some kind of metal. I would guess
I guess.
iron, steel, because that's a very common material, very useful. So, but that means you can like create a plate, you can create a pipe, you can like, but you're not creating circuits and sensors
No way.
and
No way.
wires.
You can't get the clean silicon for that.
Yeah, no way. And even if you can manufacture plates, if you have one available, let's use
Save it.
that. Save it. Yep. So,
Juliet goes adventuring down into the silo and she encounters this rope. Rope is super precious and she couldn't untie this knot.
okay.
What are you doing? What are you doing? So rope is super precious because how are you going to manufacture more rope. Even if in a modern silo they can manufacture rope, she's not there with them. Like this is her rope. Like she needs to be very careful with that precious resource. So she needs to just untie the rope. And look how loose this knot is. This is not a struggle to untie this. What is she doing?
So first off, rope is important because can't manufacture it,
Yep.
and it has a super high number of uses.
Yep. Very applicable.
Right. So if you have this loose knot, then you would want to you would take some time to untie the rope intact rather than cut it.
Like I can solve this knot right here just looking at it. It's super loose and not complicated.
Right. I mean, even if it took an hour for you to like work it,
Worth it.
and like work it loose and then you could untie it,
Yep.
that's worth it, right? Because the next one you'll understand how to do it.
That's right. Oh yeah,
Instead
because there's like 5 or so of these on this bar here. Yeah. Okay, this is also weird. Look, zoom in on the rope.
Kind of like this rope right here.
Okay, so there's that rope. So yeah, so that rope is going to be harder to use because in the future because it's frayed now.
Yep.
Like it's unraveling. I meant look at the rope in her arms.
Yep. What's wrong with it?
So look towards her shoulder. That is 2 ropes tied together.
Right here. Yep.
So she took long ropes, cut them short, and then tied them together to make a long rope. Just a
why?
long rope in the beginning. What are we doing?
We have a single rope intact.
That's right.
And even if it takes 2 of the longer ropes to tie them together, that's 1 knot.
Right.
Versus
And
like
that's
how many
2
knots?
That's two ropes consumed instead of 5 ropes consumed.
That's right. Plus, by cutting, it's okay. So she creates a long rope by cutting long ropes and then tying the short segments together. Weird. Now you have a bunch of knots that are failure points when you swing on the rope.
If I mean, I don't know how knot master she is, but the knot is the strongest part if you know how to tie knots, which I don't think she does.
Oh, okay.
Because if she knew how to tie knots, she'd know how to untie knots, and she could just untie this one.
That's right. If you know knots, apparently, it's from what I understand, like sailing and whatnot, rock climbing, you can like make some really strong knots. And apparently, you're saying even the knot is more strong than the rope itself, if
That's
you know
right.
what you're doing.
If you know how to tie them right, which
I don't. But
I can solve this one.
right, and since I'm not a knot expert, I would want to keep a rope intact
Yep.
rather than make new knots that I don't really understand. In addition, now these ropes that were long are now short with fraying ends.
What are you gonna do with these later?
Assuming these
just untie
ropes
knot.
didn't have fraying ends.
Gosh. I mean, I can even in this zoomed out low res picture, I can still see how to solve that knot. What is she doing? She's like,
There's like
genius
1
engineer.
and then like a 2 over, and that's it.
That's it. Weird.
Weird, so weird.
It's as if she's not lived in a resource poor environment. It's as if she's not lived in a silo where things are precious and you need to be careful with them. She's just willy-nilly
Right.
just cutting it up, just whatever.
That's right. Even if you could manufacture new rope, you're not always first in line. It's not always your priority. So if you have rope, keep it.
I mean, I feel the really nasty part of that, it feels like she does not have the habits that would come from living in a silo. You know, like people that lived in the Great Depression, they like saved every scrap of everything, even though their kids and grandkids were like, "This is stupid. What are you doing?" But it's like, the pressures on me during when my critical stages of development, they changed my personality and they stick with it. So I feel like she should just undo the knot. Just what are you doing?
That's right. And it's even worse than that because she's not under time constraint. She can take the time. She's no longer, her air is not a problem right now. She can take the time to be like, okay.
She should be looking to set up shelter. I mean, I guess she's away from the rain, but she needs warmth and food and water.
Yep. This cannot be a priority right now.
Weird.
It's
okay, whatever.
And then okay,
Juliet's
the fact that the rope has so many uses, she doesn't necessarily know what she's going to use the rope for in the future, but a person who's in survival mode would be like, this is so useful, I don't know what I would use it for, but I should save it.
I'll make the cut on demand if I need it later at a time when I need it.
Right.
But I don't
That's
need
right.
it now. So save the rope. As long as you can.
That's right. That's right. And it gets even worse.
It gets worse. She does some this is some low quality adventuring. I mean, I guess she's never played like Uncharted, but this is low quality adventuring. So she ties a rope exactly where they were already tied. They were
I don't get
already
it.
tied there. Wait, pause. Wait. What do you don't get it?
So I don't get it. So if she knows knots,
Okay.
and she saw that the rope was tied with a good knot, why not leave the knot there?
The rope
But if
is
she
already
sees
tied
that
to
it-
the place.
But if she sees that it's a bad knot, you undo the knot and re-knot it in the way that you know. In what scenario are we cutting the ropes? There's already ropes there.
I mean, if the knot was undefeatable, it was stuck there. She couldn't undo it, but she needed the rope on like four levels away. Fine, cut the rope, move up your 4 stories, do your thing. But here she cuts the rope and then ties the rope to the same place that it was already tied to. Why'd you do that?
Why'd
You
you
just
do
made
that?
the rope shorter for no reason.
For no reason.
Like it's actually even just wasting her time to cut it, then retie it. What are you doing?
That's right. And she knows that the current configuration is holding a body because those bodies were like hanging bodies.
So it was strong enough to hold a body.
Right. So it's like field tested, ready to go.
It gets worse. Let's watch. So she climbs over. All right.
Okay.
She's going down. She's trying to get to
Going
the
down.
next level. All right. A little slippy. That's okay.
Okay, just to be clear, in the season 1, she had problems with ropes and using her feet. Did not
Oh.
learn how to climb ropes, and here it is again.
Trying the same thing. Okay, so she's stuck in the middle. She has to do this swingy thing, which
Yep.
would work. And then bummer.
Good thing she didn't hit any
High
rebar.
risk. Yeah, she could have gotten pale. That splash scene, oh man, that surprised me. That was super cool.
I thought she was dead.
I thought she was done. Okay, but let's go back. Can we go back to where she's looking down onto where she go? Yeah, okay, a little bit more further back.
Further back.
So she wants to get on that platform on the right?
Yep.
Leave him
so
more-
here
leave him
she
more.
is. Here's the platform she wants to get on.
Exactly. Let's go back maybe 20 seconds.
Okay.
220 seconds. A little bit.
Right
Come
here.
on. There. Okay. So she wants to get there, right?
Yep.
And why didn't she just tie her rope over there? Like she hung the ropes. She tied the new rope
Yep.
to in between the existing ropes, and the existing ropes were hanging bodies. So she knew
Yep.
where those ropes would point to. It would point to in the middle of this platform here where she can't reach.
That's right.
Why didn't she just go over to the corner and tie the new rope in like the elbow, the corner, the crook? How do I say
We
this?
have.
Oh,
yeah,
picture. Perfect.
we have a picture for this. So we drew a picture. Here's the staircase.
Yeah.
Here's the
Essential.
intact upper platform that she's
Yep.
gonna dangle from, and here's the platform with the missing middle piece.
Right.
For some reason, she dangles the rope in this red position right here,
Which-
in the middle
which-
of the gap.
In the middle of the gap, and she knew it was in the middle of the gap because the bodies were already hanging there in the middle
Yep.
of the gap.
Why didn't
but
she
she-
tie the rope over here,
Yep.
where it coincides with the intact part of the platform?
Yes, exactly. And then maybe you could say, well, if she hangs it off the ledge and the rope goes down, so she doesn't get the platform. But to the end of the rope, she could tie one of the helmets from those bodies that she removed. Tie the helmet and then swing it underneath so that it goes across and then catches somewhere. Or even if it doesn't catch, it's still better than dangling in the middle of the hole.
So you're saying like hang a counterweight right here,
Yep.
and then try to swing the counterweight onto the platform. So now you got a rope that like dangles into the platform. So as you climb down, you can follow the rope down to the platform.
Precisely.
In fact, we could start optimizing, like this, probably again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
But this mistake, at first, just seems like a no-brainer. Like
it seems like she's never. I don't know. It's too many. It's too many problems for why did she do this? Heck, even if she just threw that rope over, but instead of letting it drop in the middle, she like flung it to the right here. Flung it to the right, so then she can access that part from the staircase.
Yep.
And then she could do like a running rope swing across. That also would have been an.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So you're saying here, swing the rope so it's here. Now you can come down here and then swing across.
And yes, that's still not good for the concrete because the concrete, I guess, tore the rope apart. But maybe a few times, okay.
Yeah.
Really, the best thing is to have just walked across the platform on the top, gone to the blue line, and just drop your rope there.
Drop the rope right here. So if we go back to the picture where she's, let's see, not that one, right here. Go to this picture. She's dangling in the middle.
In the middle. Can we go back to the board?
Yep.
That picture on the left?
Yep.
That's the picture. So she ties her knot in between in the middle here. But she could have just walked around to the background of this and like see where the railing's starting to curve. Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
This
all this. So many options. You got a pillar here to help guide you. You've got this turning part. Why am I dangling it in the middle?
Are you a genius? Like, are you this engineering mind? Like, what is this?
What are we doing? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, it's a good lesson to not shoot from the hip. Like take a minute, get a little snack, get a little drink of water or whatever. Think about it, mull it over, and then do the right thing. Like do our better thing. But there's more.
There's more.
Her adventuring skills. There's more problems. So she falls in the water. Like super fortunate. Finds this container that she uses as a flotation device, but then she threw it. Like it's so fortunate to have perfectly landed in this spot where she got this flotation device, and she doesn't know how to swim, or she maybe treads a little bit. Like that makes sense. Like where would she have learned how to swim inside the silo, right? But then she finds this container. She props herself up on it. The flotation device, perfect. It's still watertight. I have no idea what this container's history is, but also if it's watertight, then it's useful. It's useful for transferring water. But instead, she's like, "If you bottle, like throw you away." If she needs it in the future, she's gonna have to take like rope and like fish it out, like try to like hula hoop it or pull it in, like
it's just another indicator that she doesn't really feel like she's lived in scarcity before, because this is an intact container that just saves your life.
Gosh, actually, she worked in recycling. She would have an astute sense for like this could be useful. This could be useful.
Because the containers that would come down to recycling would probably have holes in them, degraded, decrepit.
Yep.
Right, to have an intact container, I mean, if you have fluid, how do you transport it? You need a container with no holes. There's a container with no holes.
That's right. Yep.
If she needs this again, she's like, "Oh, I need that container." Where is it?
It's in the dark. In the darkness, she's got to try to find it.
Like no chance.
She can't swim if it floats away. She's got to try to lasso it with a rope, but the rope is short now.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, she flings it. It's going to float away to wherever. Like there it is. Where's it going?
Okay, I have a new idea for this bottle. She opens it up, fills it with water. She seals it tight, ties the rope to it, and then now this is your anchor for the rope. You fling it to the side of the bridge that she wants, and then now that's holding it in place.
And water's heavy. There you go.
It doesn't need to hold her whole mass. It just needs to stop the rope from falling away.
From moving too much. I meant heavy, because it's like once it's on the spot you want, it's a lot of mass to move with friction. So it's going to be difficult to dislodge from where it is.
I just need the rope to not be flailing around as she tries to go down it.
Yep. So there's so many. That's just one use for this container. There could be so many uses.
That's right. Yeah, she's going to need to set up a fire eventually, so that she can clean water, and then she's going to need to bring water to that fire, so that way she can boil it or whatever. And this container would have been perfect.
Yeah, it's a large container.
Juliet.
So Juliet, what are you doing?
And then she makes this garbage bridge. I don't mean the garbage as in it's terrible. It's just made out of garbage. And this really bothered me. It bothered me in that it doesn't feel like she's an engineer with experience.
Okay, rods. That looks nice.
Steel pipe. Yep. Nice and heavy. Cool. This was weird. She's gonna cut that with a file. She's gonna be there for a couple days.
So okay. When I saw this, I thought, no way is she going to cut it with a file. No way.
I also thought that.
So the only thing she could be doing is she marked it, and maybe she was making a groove where the mark is.
A little notch.
So she can, when the
She's
chalk
not trying to
rubs
go
off,
through it. She's trying to make a little marker. Okay.
So that when the chalk comes off, which maybe it eventually will, there's the mark. I know where to put
That's
it.
true. Like a physical. Okay.
Because, I mean, she's not going to sit there for like a month being like, shh, okay, day 17 of fight. Like,
Finally, yeah. He doesn't have the teeth for that. This I like. You got to be able to walk on something, cut the wires, set it on top.
Yep.
All right. Seems right.
would you want to cut the grate, though? Isn't that ruining its integrity a little bit? Or is that okay?
I mean, if she has no need to cut it, then don't cut it because it could be useful in its larger size for something in the future.
Yeah.
But at least it's not bad. It's not like this is really bad decision. But
Yeah.
okay. She makes this bridge
Plastic.
plastic. Okay, I don't know what she's gonna do with it yet.
Cuts it.
Cutting it. Okay.
She's cutting
This was
everything.
bad. This was bad. So she's making lash. You can do this for like bamboo bridges, or if you need to make wood bridges for whatever reason, and you're in the jungle, and so you take like sticks and then you tie them together with lashing with short but very strong fibrous plants, and that stops the sticks from falling apart. But this plastic sheet is just not gonna do that.
So when I watched this at first, I thought she was using, I never did know this word lashing. She was using the plastic lashing. I thought she was just going to hold the thing in place so that she could come in with a stronger material later. But you noticed that she's actually using the plastic lashing as structural?
So that's how I read it. I read it as she's using this as structural lashing to hold that grate to the bar. And I think later on, when I watch this again later, she finds some other ropes to do the lashing, but also some parts she actually just uses the plastic as lashing.
Okay.
Which is just no way. It's going to stretch.
No way. No way.
She does the pulley stuff. That's
Just
clever.
pull it.
That's good.
Yep.
I like
Okay,
this.
lift it up.
This was clever. And the bottom is not secured. That makes sense.
Yep.
You slam it down. Okay. Actually, this is a good picture. So you see right here in the foreground, she found a different type of rope, skinny rope.
Yep. Skinny rope.
Nowhere. Okay, for sure. And so this is lashing. This is like you tie it around a bunch of different directions.
Yep.
And then you make them stick together. But I think maybe in a frame or two before, or in maybe when it's still falling. Yeah, look there. There's plastic lashing.
You're saying right here.
Yep. And also the one below it.
This one?
That is structural plastic. That is
No.
structural plastic film. That is
No way.
no chance. No chance. And I think that's exactly what happens when she tries to go across this bridge. It falls apart. I mean, good that it is not magical plastic that works. Like the bridge fails, but also Juliet's supposed to be this genius engineer.
Right.
Genius engineer. I mean, no way is this going to work.
I mean, you don't even need to be an engineer. You need to be a kid who's trying to build a tree fort to be like.
You need to be a child that has opened a plastic package before.
like this is stretchy.
It's stretchy. I can put my finger through it. Tear it open.
Yeah. And then she puts the plastic lashing at one of the most structurally important segments of the bridge.
The middle part is going to require the most strength.
Right. The edges require less, depending on how it's designed.
It's supported by the concrete.
Also, she's not very good at knots because I don't know stuff about knots, but and like rope work, but like there's no way that is a good.
Yeah, it's kind of just everywhere.
Kind of everywhere. There's a lot of loose stuff going on.
Yeah, it needs to be
which
tight.
means that's not contributing.
Right.
So what the heck is that? Yeah.
But it kind of works. And there's a scene here where she's tightening a bolt.
Okay. This is a wrench and this is the bolt.
Exactly.
Yep.
But what is she tightening? Because she didn't have a drill and a tap, so she's not making new threaded holes. So she's not making holes in the pipe, and she's not using this bolt to secure pipes together. She's just tightening something that is already there. in what was already there. I think she's just tightening that metal grate onto its frame.
Maybe do you think maybe she has a nut and a bolt? So she somehow found a way to.
But it's in the square tube. Like this only square tube that she has is for that grating, like the wire mesh.
So it must have a hole in it. Either she found,
Sure, but
it's got.
I guess what I'm saying is she's not securing the pipes together. She's just tightening a bolt that isn't carrying any structural weight. Like it's just tightening it to be tight. Like cool.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's just a bolt onto the flat face,
Right.
but there's nothing underneath it to squeeze something together. So it's
Right.
just a bolt.
I mean, if she was putting a bolt through the pipes, I get it. That makes sense.
Yep.
Very strong. But she doesn't have a drill, and she doesn't have. Yeah, I guess she doesn't need to have a tap, because she could be tightening. It could be, instead of threading the steel pipe, she could just putting a nut on the end. Okay, fine. But she doesn't have a drill. How's she going to make holes?
Yeah. So what's the point of this? I mean,
I
I
don't
felt
know.
like it was
I don't know.
zoomed in enough that I was like, I don't really see what the purpose of this is. It must be structural. Okay.
Okay.
But if we
it's
look
going
at
onto
it, I
something
don't see
square,
anything
right?
there.
That's a square bar, right? It's not a cylinder. It's a square tube.
Right. So it's not the piping.
Right. The only place that she has square tube is in the wire mesh.
So if we look at the bridge, let's go to maybe this shot right here. Okay, I guess it's best when it's at the end here. So this is the square tube,
Oh, is it?
right? Is that it? And if there's a long bolt,
Okay.
maybe she secured something on the underside. That's weird, but okay.
Maybe. Okay, I'm less convinced of my statement. It might be okay, but definitely she doesn't have a drill, so she's not putting that bolt through the pipe.
Right.
I don't know. Didn't feel good. Another thing that didn't feel good was this bridge didn't fall right. So we see Juliet there on the right,
Yep.
and the here we go. The bridge falls like as it falls down with this
Yep.
perfectly rotating arc, as if
Yep.
this spot, the tip here, is really like secured, like stuck.
Yep.
But it's not.
That's this
stuck.
down here, right?
Exactly. It's not stuck. It's just sitting there with friction. And so this is a lower division, upper division university physics problem, is how do ladders fall when they're not stuck to the ground? And
Yep.
so this didn't fall right. Let's look at how it fell.
Okay. Hold on a second. Okay.
So the bottom's
Okay, it
definitely
falls.
not fixed.
Okay.
So it fell as if the bottom was stuck, and it does this nice smooth rotation.
Mm-hmm.
But what should happen is, as the ladder starts tipping, the normal force, the force that's pushing the ladder up, gets
Yep.
smaller and smaller and smaller,
Yep.
which means the static friction force, which is keeping the ladder from sliding, goes away.
Yep. Goes away.
So it should tip until the static friction force becomes weak, and then the bottom should slide away, and then
Right.
the ladder falls straight down.
So what you're saying is the fact that even at this low angle here, these points of the end of the bridge are stuck in place, like
Which they shouldn't be.
they're anchored.
Right.
But since
right,
it's
right.
friction, they should be sliding out.
Exactly right.
And she's actually standing in a fairly dangerous location, because if it slides out, it's going to take out her shins or something.
Right. And so I thought about this, and this is exactly why there's a prescribed way you're supposed to cut down trees.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So for example,
so there are
here.
these 4 cuts, and so
Okay.
you cut number 1 and number
Yep.
2 to make a wedge, I guess.
A wedge,
So
yeah.
that way the tree is going to fall to the left here. In fact, it
the
says
left here.
direction of fall there. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then you cut number 3.
Okay.
And 3 is critically it's on the right side of the tree, and
Yep.
it's higher than cut number 2.
Okay. So this is cut number 2. It's at this particular level. Cut number 3 is a little bit higher than.
And on
Then
the opposite
2.
side.
Okay.
If you were to have instead cut number 3 at same height as number 2
Okay.
and gone all the way through,
Yep.
Then as the tree starts to tip,
Yep.
if there's nothing fixing the bottom to the tree stump, then at some point it won't tip like smoothly with around the pivot point. It'll tip, and then the bottom will slide because there's nothing holding it in place.
So you're saying the pivot point is supposed to be this section right here.
Exactly.
So
in order
if you
for it
cut
to be
all the way through, it's going to slide out as
Right,
it falls.
because
that way.
you've removed its pivotness. In order for it to be a pivot point, it needs to be fixed. It needs to be like secured. It needs to be stuck there.
Okay. So how
So-
does this 3 above 2 solve that problem?
I see. So you make a little, I guess it's like a little wedge, a little corner, a little crook.
Okay.
So
like
that
this part?
imagine the tree starting to fall.
Okay.
Now the region 4 there
Yep.
starts to push to the right.
Okay. Push to the right.
Exactly.
Here, I'll get
If you had cut 3 lower than 2,
Yep.
then you don't have that chunk of tree that holding the bottom of the center part of a tree. What is this
Yeah.
called?
The stump.
No. I want the vertical part
The
above
trunk.
it. The trunk. Yeah. You need that little extra height there between the height
Yep.
of 2 and 3. It holds the trunk from sliding to the right.
I see. So as it's falling, so I understand. As it's falling,
Yes.
the pressure, or I guess the force of gravity, the normal force is going to be directed right here, and that's going to push the force down into the stump of the tree into the ground, and the fibers of the tree will hold it in place alongside so that it doesn't kick out,
Right.
and that's dangerous.
Right. And so that's why you cut 3 higher than 2, because you effectively make a little corner so that when
Yep.
the tree is tipping, it pushes into the corner.
Yeah. Okay.
If you cut it flat, then as the tree starts tipping, there's no corner anymore and it slides. That's exaggerated. It falls down like this, but it slides like
I see.
that straight down. And so,
So-
then
so-
it's super dangerous to be on the right side of the tree because that's where the tree's going to the trunk's going to fall, and if you're there, you're going to get punched in the chest.
Okay. So this section right here, this cut configuration, is providing the force so that the tree's pivot point doesn't slide out.
Exactly.
For Juliet, in her situation, like say here, down here at the pivot point, the only thing providing that force is friction.
It's the
Which-
static friction, which is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yep. So it should kick out right into her
Yep.
as it falls.
Yep.
And I guess that's what you've drawn here.
That's
This is the
right.
pivot
So-
point. This is the
Right.
force of gravity down at the center of mass. This is the trajectory of the end of the bridge.
Which
and the
the-
red
of the that's the trajectory of the end of the bridge, given that the foot of the bridge is actually like stuck. which
stuck. Yeah.
It's not.
And then this is the direction that this is going to kick out and hit Juliet.
Juliet. Yep.
So it didn't fall quite right. So
Didn't fall
maybe
right.
maybe she created some grooves in the ground to assist. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. She didn't have her foot there as anchoring it, although don't do that because if you're now touching the bridge, like if it
Right.
does slide out, you're
Right.
gonna get taken off. Yeah, she could have got her like knees or her shins like just blasted.
Yeah. So we have this configuration. We think we should do it. She should have done it in this configuration. So here's the staircase. Here's the platform above. That's intact. And here's the platform that she wants to get across with the hole in it. And here's the bridge she wants to get across. What she used to get across, what she does is this red rope here
To the pulley.
to the here. She like lifts it all the way up
Lifts it up.
and
Yep.
then kicks it and allows it to fall down. Instead, she could have tied the rope way over here and I tied the
Yeah.
rope to the end of the bridge and maybe even up on top here, just pulled.
Yep. Can you highlight where the pulley is?
You're saying the pulley here? Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're already up there on a completely continuous platform. You
Yep.
just take the rope and you walk to the right,
Yep, walk to the right.
and
that
that'll
pulls
drag the
this
bridge
to the
across.
left. And if
Yeah.
you ever get tired or something, you just simply stop
Tie
the rope and it
tie
just
up
sits
to the
there.
railing. Yeah.
Yeah, just sits there. And when you're good to go again, you move it some more until it's all the way across. Nice and easy.
I mean, it's easy in hindsight to say, could have done this, could have done this. But it's just, it's weird that Juliet's this genius engineer and
Yep.
just slow down a little bit. Like a little bit. Slow down.
Right. Slow down. Think it through. I mean, there's still no time constraint other than she's probably running low on water and calories. But she's taking time to build bridges, so she must have found some nuts or something somewhere.
That's right. Some snacks.
Some like high calorie dense snacks to be able to do
guess-
this kind of heavy lifting.
I guess rule of thumb, I don't know if this is real. I'm making it up. Rule of thumb is if the forces and the masses become significantly larger than what a human could just lift, then you need to slow down more and figure out how can I use machinery or mechanical advantage or pulleys to make it doable.
Doable, yeah.
Doable,
sure.
safe, not mess me up. The cool thing is that she almost got a Da Vinci bridge, like by accident.
Okay.
So what is a Da Vinci bridge? A Da
What's-
Vinci bridge does not require these lashings. It does not require structural support, I guess, from the bottom. It's a bridge where the forces lock itself together.
Yeah. So we found this
actually-
picture from this channel.
Yeah.
And they have this nice, so each is from popsicle sticks. So, gosh, I haven't thought it through, but somehow the interlockingness of this, each force where it wants to tear the bridge apart is counteracted by the adjacent popsicle sticks. So that altogether, it's got structural support.
Right. So actually, the more weight you put on it, provided you don't break the popsicles, break the sticks, the more weight you put on it, the stronger the lock is to itself.
So how did she almost get one of these Da Vinci bridges?
Oh, yeah. So if these bars that are sticking down,
Yeah, I see.
if they had
these,
been
yeah.
on top, make an arch, could have been
Oh,
it.
yeah. So like this bar right here is underneath this metal bar.
Exactly.
If it's simply been put on top, the
A
force of
crossbar.
this bending action would go into the crossbar.
Exactly. Which
Which
would
is a lot
actually
stronger.
lock it in. So actually, and then you run into maybe slipping problems
Yep.
because it's a smooth cylindrical pipe.
Yep.
But what she could do to fix that is take the file and put a little notch.
There you go.
That would have worked.
Yeah. Or even then the required force is the lashings feel is just to keep it from sliding.
Yep.
And it's not hitting the full weight. So it's just to keep it from sliding. So you don't need such structurally strong
The structural
lashings.
force comes from the notch in the pipe.
Yeah.
She almost
So
got it.
she almost got it. So just a reconfiguration
Yep. That's
would
all it would take.
increase it. Also
I
here.
don't know about building a Da Vinci bridge from one side, but oh, she almost got it.
I don't think you can build it from one side, can you? I mean, she could build it on the upper platform and then lower it down. That's too much.
Okay, but Da Vinci bridges are very good at holding downward force.
Yep.
I think if you push any upward force, which is what she would have to do if she was supporting it
I
from
see.
above, it falls apart. Can we look at the popsicle?
Yep.
Yeah, so that middle popsicle, I guess any of
Yeah.
them, if you lift them up, it breaks.
Yeah,
apart.
it falls apart. So you need like to put, yeah, so you couldn't lower it unless you were really clever. This is getting too much.
You'd
but
have to
the
hold
principle-
the four corner. Yeah.
Yeah, but the principle of the downward force on this popsicle is counteracted by this structural popsicle.
Or it enhances. Like
It enhances it. Could have been used by Juliet here,
so close.
but instead she gets this like pivot action.
And then gonna fall away.
Gonna fall away. Again, this is more evidence like she's supposed to be this genius mechanic under constraints, figuring out clever ways to do things, and kind of just seeing incompetence across the board.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't know what she's doing.
And then after all that, she almost got stuck on the far side of the bridge. That's right. Frustrated sigh. That's correct. Yeah.
So this is her on the other side of the bridge after
Exactly.
her kind of crappy bridge collapsed, and she's stuck over there right now.
Exactly.
Okay, she's looking down.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Running through options, like can't do
Yep.
this, can't do that. But then these things. Okay.
Barrels.
Okay. Okay. Got an idea.
Cool oil barrels.
Yep. Kind of just the exactly right things that she needs.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. Whoa. So really cool idea, I thought, where she supports the barrel, supports this long metal piece with these barrels so they can roll. And then she can use the cantileverness of the long piece so it can fly across the gap and land in place. The question is, would it have worked?
Maybe. I think so.
Maybe. Well, first off, here, this barrel is going to roll forward. Is she leaving enough free zone here?
Oh, good point. She's going to run into that.
Yeah, I guess you would have to calculate that out, maybe do some tests to figure out how far the barrels are going to roll, because it is really required that the last barrel is right at your optimal point as it falls away.
Optimal point being at the very end of the platform.
I think it's at the pivot point. If you go to the end of the platform, you're going to get this. You're going to get rotation down. I think. And this is it landing. So I think you want the last barrel to fall away when it's right here.
Agreed.
Okay.
Sorry. End of the platform, I mean where she's standing. Yeah.
So I really wanted to do some physics calculations about this, but ultimately I think it came down to comparing the lengths of the different segments that we were trying to solve. So the red here, let's look down here. This is the bridge.
This is a cool way to do this.
So this is the gap here. And the approximate size of the gap is this red line.
Okay.
And the approximate size of the metal plate is this blue line. And then the approximate size of the amount of sandbags is this line.
Yep, I like that.
So I overlaid them on top of each other here.
Tighten it up, yeah.
And there's this overlap zone. I think this will become easier to do when this overlap zone is as small as possible or non-existent.
Oh.
Because if you put all of the sandbags way over here and your fulcrum is right here, well, then you can just roll the plate all the way over and just place it down, get rid of the barrel, and off you go.
Because the sandbags are the counterbalance.
Right.
And if the counterbalance is extending past the fulcrum, past the last barrel, they actually are contributing to tipping down. And then you miss the platform on the right side. The metal plate goes into the water.
That's right. So I think first off, her configuration here, sandbags, they need to be piled more over here to tighten up, to make the fulcrum wherever it is in here, somewhere in here, as close as far over here as possible.
See.
And if she does it right, she should just be able to roll it and place it down. Now that may not be possible given the weights. But
you mean as opposed to this heavy slam, you just tip it down gently.
Right, that's right. But if that's impossible, she might need to get as far as she can go and then give it a big running start and then
launch.
And then launch. But there is some details about, what's the angle of the plate? Because if you go past the fulcrum, it's going to start to tip down and then you might get into the water. So you might want to start the configuration up so that when it leaves the barrels, it's rotating down as it lands. Lots to consider, but I think the starting place is getting these sandbags optimized. This is no good.
Stack them up tight and at the left side.
Yeah. And if it's hard to stack, I bet you could find some containers over here so you could really get to the edge and stack them vertically.
Hey.
And I think she has space to do tests. Test configurations, where's my fulcrum? Once she gets a cantilever going, it's going to be really easy to move the thing around.
She did this on the first try.
She did it on the first try. She was successful, but
worked. Yeah.
I didn't. There was a high chance that she misses and it goes clanging into the water. So, I mean,
something I just thought now.
What
does that mean? That the central staircase is the only staircase between platforms? Is there not an option she could have just walked around on the outside?
So you're saying, so there's the central staircase with the spiral staircase?
Yeah.
But that's a weak point in the silo if that's the only way up and down.
If there's a fire, there's the only way people can go between floors. That's going to be a massive traffic jam. Wouldn't you want to have additional staircases on the outside? Maybe not as big, but have options, right?
Mm-hmm. Can we find a good picture of the silo? Let's see here. Gosh, we don't have a good picture of the silo. But what you're saying is, in this picture, in order to get from this level, to up and down, you got to go across this. Now that this is broken, there's no way.
That's right.
But maybe on the outside, there's no stairs up.
Right. Have some redundancy, or even just in terms of like traffic management, give people options.
Give people options, yeah. If there's a fire, give people options.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm like on the outside, like, I got to go to the traffic in the middle and go up and down. Whereas if there's a staircase right outside, I can go up.
Yeah, like the place I need to get to is right above me. Like,
And then because you're on the outer side, you could have multiple staircases,
right?
Because you have a larger circumference to work with.
And they don't need to be big. Maybe 1 or 2 people at a time. Real small staircases. This is a weird design.
So, and Juliet would know if there's staircases on the outside, as well as on the inside. Since she acts like there's no staircases on the outside, so there must not be. What a weird design. What?
That, or maybe she got super fixated and she like couldn't think outside the box. The box being, I need to build a bridge.
Man, that's so fixated.
So fixated. Yeah, I'm gonna try to build a bridge 3 times instead of just like walk around this. There's outside staircases.
Yeah, no way. No,
I don't know.
That's so fixated. Considering the energy investment to make the bridge,
True,
is
she's
high.
Running out of water, running out of food,
and the energy investment to look for the additional staircases is a quick walk.
I guess that I believe there's only the central staircase.
It's got to be the only. That's got to be the only way. Weird, but that's got to be the only way.
That means that whoever designed the silos back when, they're like, should we get extra staircases? He's like, no.
No.
We'll plan this underground furnace and power plants and social. I don't know. I guess maybe not social structure, but they engineered this thing a lot. But then didn't do staircases.
And they didn't put staircases. Even like an emergency ladder.
Yeah.
You know?
There was no fire marshal on duty when they designed that.
Because she could either go up or down at this point.
Yeah, sure, right.
So if she goes down, she can get back up. So, gosh.
Yeah, I guess if she had more rope, she could have tied rope to the railings and then gone down.
That's
or even,
right.
heck, jump in the water and then swim to the staircase again.
Yeah. Silo design is a little weird.
Quirky dorky stuff.
Okay, cool. And that's it for our season 2, episode 1 analysis. Frustration for days.
Yeah, but the cool thing, I guess, is you see her you see her fail several times and then eventually overcome. So try. Better than not doing anything.
True. All right.
See you next
See
time.
you guys next time.